Peace and blessings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Taj Utsi, and I'm a certified financial coach. I'm also the founder of TRU Financial Coaching, where our mission here is to educate, enlighten, and equip individuals with the financial literacy that is needed in order to get off of the rat wheel. What is the rat wheel? The rat wheel is when one is constantly financing things that go down in value for them and up in value for the banks. The wheel is only powered as long as the rat is constantly moving. So when one is constantly financing things that go down in value for them and up in value for the banks, then that keeps them on that rat wheel. It's not until one wakes up and realizes that they're the rat that's powering the wheel, then they begin to do what it takes to get off of the wheel. They begin to make a plan, create a budget, get out of debt. And then once they implement that and stick with it, then they can become free to do what they want when they want instead of having to do the things that they don't want. Welcome everyone that's joining in live and those that may be catching the replay. But here we are. This is the second live stream. We did one last month and said we want to try to come on once a month to, just chat and listen and, see questions you may have regarding your personal finances only. Again, we thank everybody that's coming in now. We just had, you drop where you're from, see people coming in now. You can just give us tell us where you're from, what location in the city or in the States or around the world. But again, we just coming on today to, as you can see, the title of the this particular live stream, are car payments keeping you broke? And this is what I wanted to come on and talk about. It's been on my mind, so I figured just come on. I know a lot of people, have car payments, and for many, car payments is just a way of life for many. They just feel some, including myself at one time. I just thought car payments was normal. I just thought it was normal that you had to have a car payment, finance a vehicle. There were times when I would finance vehicles and pay the vehicles off, then jump right back into another finance vehicle, right back into another loan. So for some, financing cars is just a way of life because they really don't know much anything else. So, but what a lot of people don't realize is that a finance vehicle can really be a budget buster. It can really be a budget buster, meaning it can stunt your growth, your financial growth, your wealth, because you're constantly putting out monthly payments for a depreciating object. And what some people may not know is that with car notes or finance vehicles or even a lease vehicle, that is one of the probably the largest payment that one will have outside of their mortgage is a financed car. But like I said, with the finance vehicle, it depreciates. Some people say it depreciates as soon as you ride it off the lot. A finance vehicle depreciates as soon as you step on the lot. Because as soon as you say, I want to finance that vehicle, right then and there, it just drops. Right? The value, when they say depreciate, the value of it goes down over time. And for vehicles, right, for vehicles, finance vehicles can lose up to about 60% of the value in 5 years. In 5 years' time, a finance vehicle can lose up to 60% of its value. And this is what, some people don't take into consideration. You are paying more for a vehicle than the sticker price on that vehicle. You're paying more than what it's worth. And while at the same time you're paying more than what it's worth, the price is going down. Price is going down. So at the same time that you're making payments on a finance vehicle, the price is going up for the banks, right? It's going up for the banks because of what? interest. But at the same time, it's going down for you. Why? Because the value is dropping. And as a result of it going up for the banks, but down for the person financing, it creates a gap. And this is where, they get gap insurance from. You know, a lot of times you may go on a car dealership, and I was guilty. I never got it, but they offered it to me. They offered me gap insurance, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I didn't know it. I was just hoping that I just get approved for the loan, right? You go to a car dealership, and they already know, you're going to be there all day. They playing games with us, right? You go there, you go there for the times I went to car dealerships trying to get a vehicle, being there for 5 6 hours, 5 6 hours. They playing games trying to get me approved for this or whatever, and oh man, that was just like the worst. I would hate when I would do that. Go into a car dealership, sit there. They come out, do some paperwork, and ask you, well, what can you afford? And I say, well, give them an amount, $400 a month, whatever, whatever. They say, all right, we'll be right back. They go back. I don't know where they was going, who they was talking to back there. Right? For all I know, they could have been playing chess or checkers or Uno. I don't know. But they would always do that. They would go back there, then come back 10 minutes later. All right, can you afford this? And I think, I guess I don't, I was just wanting to get the vehicle so bad. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it. So, finance a vehicle, man, is financial suicide. It's financial suicide. But again, we thank so far we got, people coming in, and thank you for those people that are coming in. We got, I believe, Brother Frank Forrest from Australia. Said you baptized me last year. Thank you, Frank, for joining us. Yes, I got. You said, oh, you had the bright yellow. I remember. I remember. I actually had my my Australia T-shirt on today. I got my Australia T-shirt on today. So yeah, I remember that. We got. Thank you, Sister. Greetings, Sister Janet. Thank you. We got Brother Sam Rooks, greetings, Taj. Yes, I drove an old car and I saved so much money because of it. I agree 100%. And again, a lot of people think that if you have to buy a car, without financing, it's going to be a lemon or, just a, hoopty. And it's not true. It's not true. You can get a good vehicle, used vehicle, you know, reasonable price, rides good, you take care of it. Mileage really doesn't matter if you take care of the vehicle. Like I said, there's been times I've financed vehicles, and engine might have gone out, and instead of just paying the $2,000 to get it fixed, because I just thought that was so much, I I jumped into another car note, right? Jump right into another car note, not realizing that I'm jumping into another car note, just comparing the monthly payment. Right? I was just comparing the monthly payment. Well, the monthly payment is low compared to just paying the $2,000 or whatever it was to get the other vehicle fixed that I already paid off. So instead of comparing the actual loan amount to the cost of the repair, I was comparing the cost of the repair to the monthly payment, which is what most people do, and as a result, they stay on that cycle of financing vehicles. But again, vehicle finance vehicle outside of a cell phone, that's probably one of the biggest and the depreciating objects that you can purchase. All right, we said we have Letitia Cook. I took out a bank loan for a new car, 2023. The vehicle was 31K. Pay back amount to the bank is 46K. Letitia, thank you for sharing that. But like I said, I always say personal finance is personal, and for somebody to come and share information about that, much respect. That that is just business. The loan was $31,000. The payback amount to the bank was 46K. Why interest? That that is that should be immoral. But again, when you don't know, you don't know. Now, what happens, and a lot of times when people, and she says, never again, never again. Good, and I feel the same way. You will never not get me to finance a vehicle again, never again. I agree. But what happens is the vehicle may be worth, let's just say $10,000, but you might owe 15,000 or $20,000 on it, right? Let's say $25,000. Like vehicle's worth 10,000, but you owe $25,000 on it. And what may happen is all right, you can trade it in. Right now, they call that being upside down on the vehicle. You're upside down on the vehicle, meaning you owe more on the car than what it's worth. You owe $25,000, but it's only worth 10,000. So now they might, say, look, let's go in, let's trade it in or whatever, get another one, upgrade. So now what happens then? You trade that vehicle in, is a $15,000 difference. So what's going to happen with that $15,000? Well, unless you have the money to pay that $15,000 difference, then most times the car dealership, and this should be illegal. It should be illegal. What they're going to do is roll that. They call it negative equity because you owe more on the car than what it's worth. That difference is going to be rolled over to the next finance vehicle that you have. So let's say again $25,000 that you owe on the vehicle, but it's only worth $10,000. Now you want to get into a vehicle, another vehicle, a newer model, right? That maybe $30,000. So what they're going to do is just take that upside vehicle you upside down and a $15,000 difference between what is old and what is worth. They're going to roll that over to the other vehicle. That should be illegal. They roll in negative equity over to another vehicle, and that should be illegal. All right. Let's see. Says this is from Wanda Harris Hall. Greetings, brother. What advice can you give me as someone trying to get my master's and I'm being advised to take a year for work? What financial? That's a good question. This is why it's important to have an emergency fund where you can say where you can take some time off. If you're able to work part time or talk to your employer, I would just do that. Talk to your employer, try to maybe work part time. But I don't know what your situation is, current situation, which is what you have in savings. But again, having that savings, that emergency fund, where you can take some time off from work to pursue, what it is you want to do. And I share my story. I took a year off last year, took a sabbatical. I was still getting paid, but I had half pay, but I had a nice emergency fund fall back on, and if I needed things. But I kept my expenses low. I had no debt, so I could take a year off. But somebody like what you're asking, Wanda. I'm not sure what you have as far as an emergency fund or anything in savings. So that's something that you would probably have to just, if you can't, if you don't have anything in savings, maybe just work part time or something like that while you're getting to get your master's. I'm not sure if you're doing online or you know going in person. A lot of things play a factor in that. But yeah, thanks. So, but getting back again with the title, are car payments keeping you broke? Like I said, car payment probably the largest expense that people have outside of their mortgage. And I've seen cases and where people may been the car payment may have been 25, 30% of their take home pay. Here you taking home $3,000 a month, and here your car payment is about $700. That's just ridiculous because now you still got your rent or your mortgage, you got living thing conditions, expenses, things of that nature, and it's making it hard. It's making it hard, and this is why people live paycheck to paycheck because of the high amount of money they're putting towards a depreciating object. So, like I said, car payments can lose up to about 60% of its value. Here in America, according to one study I was looking at, the average car payment for a new car is like $737. $737 for a new vehicle. Used vehicles, and this was according to Experian, right? Used vehicles, $520 monthly payments. $520 for a monthly payment for a used vehicle, and that's just the vehicle. Because what's not taken into place in the account for this is also the insurance, the repairs, the fuel. So even though it's $737 for a new vehicle and $520 for a used vehicle, that's not in including everything else. So for cost of insurance, full coverage, I looked at average cost of insurance about $220, and that's full coverage. So you're looking at, for a new vehicle, you're looking at just with insurance and the average payment of a new vehicle about $950 a month. $950 a month on average with a new vehicle car payment and insurance. That's just that, not including repairs and fuel and 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 any other expenses. Registration and you name it. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Where if an individual just saved $750 for 10 months, that's $7,500 that you can go out and get a nice, something used, get something used that's reliable. But people think that, well, if it's cost that amount of money, then you know, uh, it got to be a limit. It got to be a hoopty. It's a dud. It ain't gonna last. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. So again, car payments, man. Like I said, I would never. God be my help. I never. I have no mind to finance a vehicle again. Not at all. All right. Let's see. This from Sister Jaquette. Insurance is almost like a scam to me. It is just too expensive. Driving 20 years, no accident. I want a driver's refund. I agree. I agree. Now let me ask you, Jaquette, do you own your vehicle? Or are you making payments? And the reason why I ask is because if and depending upon the state, but most if you own the vehicle, you just need liability, right? You don't need full coverage. You just need liability. So that's just something to think about. But another thing is, and you said something good. You said 20 years without an accident, right? Somebody said, I believe, Sister Monica said that's right. $900 a month for 7 years is ridiculous, right? So think about this also. If you get insurance, well, they make it mandatory. You got to have it, which I agree with you. I think it's a scam. It's a scam to me. It's just, well, you know what? It's just business, so I can't get my feelings involved. It's business, but to me, it's like, come on, you paying for a what if? But let me say this: if you get your insurance, always get the highest deductible. If you're an experienced driver, like if you're a new driver, all right, then maybe you might not want to do that. But if you experienced driver, you said 20 years, 20 years with no accidents, right? Get the highest deductible possible, right? And the reason why I say get the highest deductible possible is because when you get the highest deductible, that lowers your monthly payments, right? It lowers your monthly payments. Now, if an accident does happen, then yeah, you're gonna have to come out of pocket with that highest deductible. But 20 years with no accidents, trust your driving record. Just trust your driving record, right? So I get the highest deductible. I got liability only because I don't have a finance vehicle. I don't. The bank don't own my car. I own it. So it's my wife's car and she owns it, but I paid for it. But anyway, just get the highest deductible, right? Get the highest deductible, and that way that you will lower your monthly payments. All right. Somebody said this is Chris Spain from Spain. I guess I'm Chris Spain. I was paying $632 a month for a car note and $40 for insurance. 40. Oh, I'm sorry, about to say $40 for insurance. $540 for insurance. I couldn't afford it, and I love my was that Massachusetts long story. Long story short, it was my wife's car. It hurt me, brother Taj, when they came. When they came, hey, and that's what I'm saying. Like people say they own a car. You don't own a car if you're making payments, right? Car owners don't make car payments because if you owned it, they couldn't come take it. They couldn't come take it. So yeah, and I've seen cases where repo men come and folks is fighting and over depreciating objects. Folks will they know they don't make haven't made payments in months and they park the car somewhere far from where they live at. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But again, you feel that hurt. You feel that pain of making them payments. Is just a budget buster. It's a budget buster. I was thinking about with even with the length of the loan. Like people say that you always go to the car dealership. Uh, yeah, 48 months and 70 months. Like they always put it in terms of months. Why? Because it sounds, less painful as opposed to saying 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. I seen one car, believe, forget what the vehicle was, but like 10 years, 120 months, 10 years for a car payment for something that depreciates, that goes down in value. 10 years, that's insane. That's insane to be paying that amount of money for that amount of time when you can take that same money, right? You can take that same money and invest it. But America has, and this is why we watch television almost, almost not every, but a lot of commercials, car commercials, 0% finance, 0% down, 0% or zero down, 0% finance. That's a setup. That's a setup. You saying you put zero down, and I was guilty of that. And I'm thinking, man, I didn't have to put no money down. Yes. What is that saying? I'm financing the entire loan, financing the entire loan, and they say 0% finance for a certain period of time. But as soon as you miss that one payment, that all that interest tacked on, boom. When one signs that contract, they are saying, look, I'm giving away money that I haven't even earned yet. I'm going to give away money for the next 48 months or the next 72 months or whatever amount of months. I'm going to give away that amount of money for those amount of years, not knowing what the future holds. I can lose my job. I can get ill, anything. Right? I'm signing away future income for a depreciating object. That doesn't make sense. But that's the American way. That's the American way. You know, I was looking at some numbers, and I was thinking about how, like I said, just say 5 years, right? Just say 5 years, because the average car payment is about 64, I think about 60, 64 months. So 64 months is about 5 years, right? So 5 years at and just using, like I said, the average used car payment about $520, right? That's $520 about 5 years in length is the average. If I was to take that same $520 and invest it in, the stock market, ETF or the S&P 500, whatever, the average return on the S&P 500 for the last 5 years was about 15%, about 15%, right? So if I take that average car payment of $520 and the average span of a car loan is 5 years, if I just take that $520 and invested it in the S&P 500, an ETF. Somebody asked a question about an ETF, put a comment about an ETF in one of the videos I made, and I'm totally I love ETFs, but again, just make sure you do your research on them, right? But if you was to do that at in the 5 years time, I did the math on this. If you would have just contributed $520 a month, I'm sorry, a month for 5 years, right? At the end of one year, that's $626,240. You would have earned at 15% interest. You would have made a total of $7,176. But at the end of 5 years, you would have had $48,382 about in 5 years, just by taking that same average car payment, right? Taking that same average car payment and put it into an investment account, a traditional IRA or Roth IRA or taxable a brokerage account. That same $520 that you've given away to the car dealership for a depreciating object, you would have had about $48,000 in 5 years. And this is what people we don't think about. We don't think about it. Why? Because we want that. We want the instant gratification, right? But it is what it is. All right, take a look at some of the comments. Thank you for those people that came in and are tuning in. Let's see. Somebody says greetings. Real quick question: is it better to get a loan through the bank and buy a vehicle and then just owe the bank, or just do payments to the dealership? Man, I'm like, look, for me, it's better to just buy the car flat straight out, right? Straight out, just buy it straight out. Save the money, buy the car. You don't got to worry about making payments, monthly payments, making payments to a bank or a dealership. Just buy the car straight out. So me personally, I man, I don't even mess around with bank loans for a vehicle. I don't even do that. I don't even do that. But some people they might go through a credit union, get a cheaper, lower interest rate, and that's up to you. But personally, I don't finance cars, so I wouldn't. That's up to your preference right there. But you know, I've seen places where dealerships, and this is what I'm saying, man. Some of these things should be like illegal, immoral. But I've seen like some dealerships. See, so like the interest rate and the amount you can the length of the loan is a lot of times determined by your credit score, right? And with that being said, the higher your credit score, the better the loan terms will be. But they have some car dealerships, man. This is just, and you would think that if you got to go to a car dealership where it says weekly payments, $150 a week, because your credit score is just so just jacked up, just low, and you got to, they say make $100, $150 a week, and not only and they know that this is wrong to loan money to people that just don't have any financial know-how, just not good with finance. They know that by looking at your credit report. Like I said, credit score is just an indicator, right? It's the credit report that the banks look at. So if they see delinquents on this and all these late payments and all these charge-offs and things of that nature, they know, okay, we gonna give them the subprime loan, right? Subprime meaning the the lowest uh, that you can go. Like after the big big fish, the sharks, the banks, done picked all ate you all up, and now you just down to just bones and just a little bit of skin. Now the subprime lenders come in and just take the rest of that off. So they'll give you 17%, 20% interest rate, 48 months. And not only that, if you got a shut off box in your vehicle, because I've seen car dealerships that put shut off box where if you miss a payment, they got a control back at the dealership and they got a box in the vehicle, shut the whole car down. If that's in your vehicle, you in bad shape. But people don't even realize it. They just look at it as okay, I got it, it's normal. But that's bad, man. That's bad. So answer your question, man. I don't even mess around with dealerships. All right. Let's see. Something a shut off box. Wow, that's crazy. It's the truth. Shut off. I've seen them. I know people that had them. People was driving, missed the payment, shut the car right then and there. Unbelievable. But it's business. It's business. But like I said, it's like sometimes you get the question like, because it's kind of let me think about what about the getting from the dealership or the bank. It's like people say, is it better to finance or lease? Basically, it's the same thing. You're still paying the bank. You don't own the vehicle. It's just that you financing. You paying to own. When you lease, it's like you just renting. But the thing about it is, leasing and times can be more expensive. Over time, it can be more expensive. It's both the same. You both don't own it, but leasing can be more expensive because when you're leasing the vehicle, you got to follow the stipulations of the dealership, or go over a certain number of miles in a year. You got to pay extra money. You certain wear, get little nicks on the car. You got to pay extra money, wear and tear. And then remember, like I said earlier, the car the car itself, the vehicle itself, it goes down in value over time, and the banks notice. The banks know that. So you go lease a vehicle, say for 5 years or 3 years or whatever. When you first got the vehicle, the worth might have been worth $40,000. Now when you bring it back, it may be only worth $10,000. The banks, they're not going to lose that money, that $30,000, because they you turn the car in after the lease is up, it dropped $30,000. Do you think the banks didn't know that when you signed the paperwork, the lease? They knew it was going to drop. So what did they do? They included the value that it would depreciate it. They included that in your monthly payments. They're not going to lose. The banks don't lose. The house always wins. The banks don't lose. They know that the car goes down in value. So what are they going to do? They're going to include the depreciating value of the vehicle in the monthly payment. So you're paying more than what it's worth. You're paying more than what the car is worth. Like I said, it's like when somebody would say they got 0% financing. How do you think you got 0% financing? Because the bank said you got 0% finance? Because the bank said you got 0% finance? How can you get 0% finance on a depreciating object? It depreciates, so you're paying more over time than what the vehicle is worth. Financing a vehicle, you can do. People can do whatever they want. Me personally, I don't do it, but to me, it's because it's financial suicide. You're stunting the growth of your potential growth. You're stunting your potential growth. Like I said, if you was to invest $520, which is the average car payment over the course of 5 years in a ETF, index fund at a over the last 5 years, S&P 15% interest. That money, that $520, and after 1 year, $6,240. After 5 years' time, you got $48,000. But we just throw money away. Just throw money away. And I'm not saying you don't buy nice vehicles or whatever. You want to do that? That's preference. But make sure it's calculated. Make sure it's a calculated purchase, right? Make sure you know what you're getting into. And a lot of times people don't know what they're getting into. They don't know what they're getting into. All right, let's look at some uh, let's see. All right, look at some of the comments. You got that I agree with that. Only issue is what if we can't afford that complete the buyout, but yet we need a vehicle that's a decent and affordable. All right, that's a that's a good question. Good question. I'm gonna say this, man. Just if you're going to finance a vehicle, go there with a reasonable amount of money. Don't look at the saying I got zero, zero down. No, because now you're financing the whole thing. Not only, and what people really don't realize is that they're not only financing the full amount of the loan, but they also financing the taxes. Because if you ain't have money for the vehicle, then you don't got money for the taxes. So you financing the taxes too. And I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna share that one of my neighbors, he had he had a nice car. I think it was a Toyota Atlas, no Volkswagen Atlas. Nice joint, nice man. He'd be out there waxing all day, and then he just shared with me one day. I seen him. He was like, yeah, I got this. He was bragging, 0% financing, and I told him to, you know, uh, take lower the cost. Whatever the taxes was, the dealer had deducted the amount for the taxes from the actual price. So let's say the car was 10,000. Just keep simple numbers. Say the car was 10,000, and let's say the taxes was 2,000. So he gave him a $2,000 discount on the vehicle, making it cost 8,000. I'm just using these numbers, making it cost 8,000, and then just tacked on the $2,000 in taxes. So he really just paid $10,000 in his mind. So what you just told me that he don't even realize is that you not only finance the price of the vehicle, but you finance the taxes. That 0%, that zero down, don't buy it. Don't buy into that, man. If you're gonna have to finance a vehicle, I would say do this. Take at least 20% with you, right? At least 20%. So if you're gonna finance a vehicle, and again, I don't personally finance, but if I did, I would go there with at least 20% down, and I wouldn't if the value of the car drops 60% in 5 years, I would try to have that car paid off in 2 years, at the most 3 years, at the most 3 years, and I would make sure my monthly payments is not more than 10% of what my take home payment is. That's what I would do because, like I said, a car loan is a budget buster, man. It's a budget buster. It's robbing your wealth. You're losing value. You're paying more than what the vehicle's worth. I understand you might need a vehicle. You can't afford to, you don't have the money to buy. I get that. I do. I get it. I'm not ignorant. I get it. It's just that I wouldn't do it. And most people they hang that hat higher than what they can reach. And this is why they live paycheck to paycheck. This is why, they have no money at the end of the month. So, but if you need to finance a car, I would go with at least 20% down. You know, try to pay it off in 2, 3 years at the 3 years at the most, and I wouldn't make it more than 10% of my take home pay. All right, I mean, that's good. I get it, man. I'm not knocking you. People want to finance cars, that's on them. It says 5 years on the bus. That's a tough one, but I'm sure you're right. Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with riding public transportation, especially if you live in a big city. You know where we. I'm in Philly, right? We don't really need a car. You know, we have one. My wife takes it for shopping and whatnot. You know, she was working outside of Philly, but me, I jump on Scepter, no problem. Jump on it, go to work. All I do is go to work and church. I don't go nowhere else, and I don't live far from the church. I can walk to church in 20 minutes. But people, live in big cities, and I know they get, I get why most people buy the vehicles. They say it's convenience, right? But what people don't realize is, and I say this all the time, right? Debt ties you to the bank for that however amount of time that loan is for. It ties you to your job, right? Because you got to make money in order to pay the bank, and it ties you to a depreciating object. It ties you to the depreciating object. So, like I said, me personally, man, I won't finance another vehicle. Nah, I'll just buy cash or take the bus. All right. Let's see. Financing a used vehicle are of higher interest rate than a new vehicle. Well, that depends, right? That depends. And what does that depend upon? That depends upon your credit score, right? Because that's how they determine, the banks determine, uh, the interest rate. And I did some looking at that. Like I said, if you have like a prime or 780 and above credit score, they call that super prime, whatever. Like for new vehicle, it's like 5%. Yeah, depending upon your credit your credit score, it can be about 5%. New vehicle, used vehicle about 7%. Typically, it is higher with used vehicles, are higher. But again, depends upon what you're trying to get. Me personally, I would just get a used vehicle, and the reason why is because, like I said, it depreciates 5 years, and this is what the banks notice, right? And like you said, to your point, most times the used vehicles, the interest rates are higher, right? But that's by design. That's not by accident, right? It's not by accident. The banks know that the value of the car, it depreciates, right? So they want to get as much money out of you as they can. So if you get a used vehicle, the vehicle probably already depreciate the most that it's going to depreciate already. So the banks want to make up that money. They want to get as much money out of you as you can. So they're going to charge you the higher interest rate for the used vehicle, and that's exactly right. In most cases, it's like that. But they said prime. The higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate typically will be. And like I said, credit score is just a tool. Don't worship the credit score. It's just a tool. Use it when you need it. I got a nice credit score. I ain't even worried about it. I don't even look at it like that. I know it, but every now and then I might just say, oh, well, what is it? But I ain't, looking at it every day. I might look at it just to see, make sure nothing on my credit report fraudulent, but yeah, I mean, people worship the credit score, man. And it's just reward points for staying in the debt. That's all it is. Right? She says, I agree with what you're saying. It seems I was on the right track already with what you're saying. Thank you for reassurance and confirmation of the logic. You're welcome. Acts of random kindness. You're welcome. All right, would you know if the car dealership's supposed to charge tax on used vehicles? Oh yeah, you that's taxes is charged on used vehicles. Taxes is charged on used vehicles. So, and that's a good question. So here they don't charge you tax on the vehicle. Anytime it's a sale of that item, taxes is going to be applied to it. So here you can be paying a person, a car can been had like sold 3 times, and taxes is paying being paid on it every time. This is why again, car loans, man. Just if you're gonna get one, man, make sure you do your research. But me personally, I stay away from them because again, I've seen cases where people car loans is more than their mortgage and or their rent. The monthly car payment is more than the mortgage or the rent. It's that's ridiculous. If your car note is more than your mortgage or your rent, and you got it backwards. You got it backwards. All right, let's see. When someone told me that her employer paid her master's degree, she didn't realize until I told her that it meant that her bosses consider her to be a valuable. That's a good one. That's true. That is true. Why though? Isn't that double dipping? It is. But that's business. It's just business. You got to pay taxes on it because it's business. It was a transaction. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's all working together. The banks, the state, they all work together. So the state gets their cut. They got to pay taxes on that. You got to. If it's a transaction. Right? It says, what if you pay off hard inquiries yet it's still shown on your record? Still shown yet. I'm not sure I understand what that means. Christopher, I'm not sure I understand what that means. Right? What if you paid off hard inquiries? A hard inquiry means that the banks just looked at your credit report and now it's a ping on your credit report. It's an inquiry. You can't pay off a hard inquiry. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. Inquiry means they're just looking into it. Buying a used vehicle is good. I know someone bought a used vehicle car a few months later. They lost a job. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's a very good point, Andretta. Exactly right. When you buy a used vehicle and you pay it cash, that's yours. Nobody can take it from you. It's yours. And I'm be transparent. I might have one. I had a repossession before. Like I had a repossession. It's like, man, I'm telling you, man, the car payment, the last vehicle I had a car payment on, I paid that off. When I got serious, it took me a couple of months to pay it off. Right? And it was probably I had probably when I got serious, I probably had like $7,500 on it. But I probably got that pay. I think I got it paid off maybe in 4 or 5 months. I paid off 4 or 5 months. But if you own something, can't nobody can take it from you. The banks can't take it from you because you own it. You own it. So, and this is why people say my car. No, if you don't own it, that's not your car. That's the bank's vehicle. They let you use it. But so my thing is, why pay more for an item than what it's worth? That's all I look at. Why am I paying more for an item that's what it's worth? I recently went to go to just try to look for a used car. Wanted to buy a used car, and I had a certain amount of money I wanted to spend. And what I noticed is when you go with cash, they're willing to work with you. They'll knock off prices, knock off money, you know, and you're in control, right? You're in control. When you go with cash, you're in control because I'm not going to just give my hard-earned money away. I want the best deal for me. So you can negotiate the cost. And I remember when I went one time and tried it. I said, "Look, let me get $1,000 off." He was like, "Oh, I can't do that." All right, but he said, "But I can do, like he said, like 500, 600. I'll take it." All right. So you're in control. You're in control. When you go with cash, the used car, but used car dealership, they'll work with you, knock some money down, whatever. But you're in control, and then once you make that transaction, that's it. That's it. I don't have to get full coverage if I don't want to. I can get liability. That's it. You're paying your car insurance. One thing I always often say is do this 6 months. 6 months at a time. Don't do the month to month with the car insurance if you're able to. If you can do the 6 months at a time, because you come out paying less because a lot of times they charge you fees when you pay the monthly. But if you pay the 6 months, you pay less because of the lack of fees and some you get a little discount. But yeah, when you pay with cash for a vehicle and something in life may happen, right? You might lose your job. The car's still there. The car's still there, and that's what I'm saying. But when you finance a vehicle, you're promising that you're promising the bank money that you haven't even earned yet, and you don't know what the future can hold. You don't know what the future holds. All right. So all right, let's see what we got here. I just got my wife a new car. I'm going to try to pay it off in a year. Good job. Yeah, I would. I would pay it off. Pay it off as soon as you can. But now that's money you done freed up. And that's the thing. That's money you done freed up. I just paid off my 2022 new car balance after 3 years in. Never again. Congratulations. Congratulations, Kim. Keeping it real. Congratulations. Seriously. I'm telling you, man, you pay off that car, you don't got to worry about another car payment in your life. Just keep the maintenance up. It's cheaper. Again, it's cheaper to just keep the maintenance up. Engine go, that's all right. I got money, because now the money you was putting towards the car payment, now you can save. You can start saving some of that money, building up your emergency fund. Pay off other debt if you got other debt, but you can build up your emergency fund. Build up a sinking fund or a bucket for car maintenance. So that way, when something does happen to the car outside of the, routine maintenance, oil change, brake, things of that nature, something may happen. Now I got the money there, right? And it's cheaper again. People when something goes wrong with a car that they done paid off, instead of getting the car just fixed for the $2,000 or $23,000 or whatever, we'll go out and just finance another vehicle. Why? Because we're comparing the cost of a repair to a monthly payment. And that was me comparing the cost of a repair to a monthly payment. I remember I had a Dodge Charger. I love that Dodge Charger. I ain't gonna say I lot. That was I enjoyed it. It was just a vehicle. I ain't gonna say I love it, but I enjoyed that Dodge Charger, man. I paid that Dodge Charger off, and the engine went out not too long ago, not too long after I paid it off, and it was only like a $2,000 repair. But I didn't have the knowledge I had now, so I didn't have $2,000. And I mean, I could have saved it up, but I didn't have it. So what did I do? Couldn't get it repaired. Went out, went to a car dealership, signed paperwork, get another vehicle instead of just saving up $2,000. See, and the vehicle was like $400 a month. I was paying $400 a month. I was paying $400 a month for a finance vehicle after the vehicle that I really liked, the engine went out. And all I had to do was save that $400 in 5 months, and I could have got the vehicle repaired. You see what I'm saying? But instead, I tied myself to a depreciating object for whatever amount the loan was. I forget, but it was longer than 4 months. It was longer than 4 months, and then I'm wondering why I can't keep up with the payments. Budget buster, budget buster. Uh, Amen, Kim. Never again. Congratulations. That's all right. All right. Is it true insurance can't charge you according to where you live? Now that I don't know, because I know they do ask for your zip code, and because they know some areas, more at risk drivers, So I'm not sure about that. But to my knowledge, I thought they did charge you based upon your zip code. You might be paying a little higher than what others may. So he fixed his typo. I paid off some debt. Okay. All right, there we go. I paid off some debt, yet it's still showing on my credit report. I paid in the full, yet the debt shows on my report with zero balance. Okay, so if you paid off the debt, it might still show on your credit report, but you can just contact the was it like a credit card, and if it was a credit card, you still keep it open. Like what kind of debt was it? So like if you close the account, if it's a credit card, and you close the account, it'll remove. It should be moved from your thing. But if you uh, didn't close the account, then it's going to stay on there. Or if you didn't like contact the company and you get a letter of deletion, right? A letter of deletion, and that way they can report to the credit bureaus that this item has been deleted. So it's like if you made a settlement, like you might have had some. I'm just saying in general, not saying this is you, but a person might have had some collections or something, and they paid that off. The company has to send a letter of deletion to the bureaus in order to have it removed off of your credit report. Otherwise, it's going to still show on there. It shouldn't have impacted, but if you're trying to finance something in the future, they might see that, but it shouldn't impact it. But if you want it removed, you might just have to contact the company and get a letter of deletion. All right, I understand now. These days, we just can't afford a new vehicle with those high monthly payments. These are hard times. Just pay cash for a vehicle. I agree. But again, it goes back to the basics, the fundamentals of budgeting. And when people don't budget, then they can't save. So, but I agree with you, Sister Monica. I agree. It's just for me. I just say just pay cash. Just pay cash if you're able to. All right. She said, I need a car, but finding it hard to spend 40 yeah, 45K again, man. 45K is the sticker price. That's the sticker price for somebody that's paying cash. That's not the sticker price. That's not the price for somebody that's financing. 45K vehicle on the sticker, like man, that can be about 55K for somebody that's financing. So yeah, I mean, depending upon the city you live in, you use public transportation, but there's no way for me personally I would be paying that much. All right, just thinking of doing something. All right. How about buying a car after the lease? 2019 finance a car after the lease. Like I said, man, I don't finance vehicles. But again, if you're going to finance a vehicle, I would do a calculated. I would make sure I calculate it where I'm not giving away that much money in interest. Like I said earlier, I mean, I don't finance vehicles, but if I would, the knowledge I have now, I would make sure I go with a nice down payment, at least 20% down, and have that car paid off in 2 to 3 years. You don't want to carry that, and then make sure the monthly payment is not more than, I would say, just 10% of your take home pay. Because again, when your car payment is 25, 30, 50% of your take home, you're going to be in a bind. Yep, that is the rat will. All right, hello, brother Taj and chat. Is it good to pay off settlement with debt collectors? I'm going to say this. See, because of the faith that I'm in, we're in, most of my followers are from the same church I attend, but I believe the scriptures say, "Oh no man," so I got to pay that off. But I will say this: this is what I, this is what I suggest when I'm dealing with clients uh, that have debt and collections, right? I teach the debt snowball strategy. That's what I practice. I practiced it and I teach it and helping people, get out of debt. And the debt snowball strategy again, put all your debts in order from the smallest to the largest, right? Not including whatever debts are in collections. But all your debts in order that are from the smallest to the largest, not including debts that are in collections. Regardless of the interest rate, pay them off one at a time, make all the minimum monthly payments except for the smallest debt, make the minimum and any extra money put towards that. Then once you knock that off, boom, go to the next smallest debt, the next debt in order. All the money you was putting towards that first debt, now you put it towards the second debt, pay that off, vice versa, boom. Keep doing it till all the debt is eliminated. I tell individuals that any debt that's in collection, pay that off last because it's already in collections, right? Once you get down, if you got a mortgage, then once you get down to your mortgage, then you can like work on. You can go to the debt collectors, the whatever debt collector has it, whatever they have it, whoever has it, you can go to them and settle, negotiate the price. So let's say, for example, you got a debt that's in collections for like a thousand. Let's say it's $1,000. Just keep it, even number, right? Now the debt, that was you had the original debt with, they sold it to a debt collection company. The debt collection company didn't pay the full amount on the debt. They paid pennies on the dollar. So even though the debt is $1,000, they may have only paid $100 for the debt, right? Because it's a business. So they have $1,000. They have your $1,000 debt that they only paid $100 for. So now, if you have other debts, you pay off your debt using the debt snowball strategy. And now all that money, now you can go to the debt collector and say, look, I know my debt is for $1,000. This debt that that's in collections is for $1,000. I can give you $400 right now. Most of them are going to take it because they just want the money. The company just want the money. They only paid $100 for the debt. They still come out on top. You go to them with $400. They may say, well, I will see. They may try to say make you pay more, but no, you can. No, you can negotiate anything that's in a debt, a collection, right? You can negotiate that. But if you do that, let me say this also: do not give them your bank account information. Don't do that. You negotiate something with them, and always make sure you get everything in writing. And this will say also get that letter of deletion. Also, they should send that to you automatically. But do not give them your bank information. What you do, you go to CVS or Walmart or whatever, get a prepaid card, put $400 on there, call the company up. Look, I got $400 I can pay you right now. I know it's $1,000, but I can pay you four. I can give you $400 right now, and let's settle it. Give me the letter of deletion. Most times they will agree to a settlement. But that's what I would. That's what I would do. So yeah. All right. Greetings. I really need a car. There's no public transport. Uber, Lyft, in the Poconos. I'm saying just go to a public auction. That's not a bad idea either. Go to public auctions are not bad. A lot of a lot of times the public auctions are for vehicles that were repossessed, right? And here's the thing, like I was saying earlier, right? The cars, they depreciate quickly. But let's just say, a person got the vehicle repossessed. The car may have been worth, let's just say keep it simple again, $10,000, right? But they may have owed, $15,000 on it. So the banks, they just, I mean, with the car auction, they just want some money. They just want money. That's why they can get it at the low price. Because they just want some money to pay the difference of what was owed, what's owed and what it's worth. So I would, that's not a bad idea. Make sure if you some, and even when you with car auctions, they allow you to come on a lot early and examine the car. So if you know a mechanic or somebody, you can bring a mechanic, have them take a look at it. But yeah, car auctions is not a bad idea at all. What I do, I go on this website called Car Gurus. One of my brothers gave me this website years ago as I got a vehicle. We have them, and I actually used that recently to look at some other vehicles because I want to, buy, not finance. I want to buy another vehicle soon in the near future. But Car Gurus, CarGurus.com. You just put your area code in it, put your amount that you want to spend, the range, and even body type, whatever you're looking for. That's something that you can utilize also. All right, but car auctions, nothing wrong with that. I did this a year ago when my credit score was like 500, started settling all my debt. I paid a fraction exactly. Is that two fish, five loaves? I like that name. Two fish, five loaves. I like that. That's exactly right. You pay a fraction. Yep. You settle all your debt, you pay the fraction. Because again, the debt companies, the debt collectors, once it goes to collection, they paying nickels, dimes on the dollar, right? So you can, just settle at a fraction of the cost. Yeah, I did that with one of my debts. I think it was like $1,400. I gave him like $600. We was good. They gave me the letter. I asked for letter of deletion, moved it off my credit report. You know, so yeah. All right. I'm thinking about just going to a public. What do you think about? Oh yeah, I think I answered that one. Yeah. All right. Someone can take an old car and restore everything on it, and it becomes of value. Why not buy a used car and do the same? No payments and it's yours. That's exactly right. I agree. No payments and it's yours. All right. Gotta have a good command. I agree. Gotta have a good mechanic. So yeah, I mean, like I said, a car payment, man. I'm telling you. Like I said, I had the last vehicle I had. I think it was like a Infinity, and I had like I said, $7,500 when I first started my journey, and I went hard on it, man. I wanted to get that out of the way after I paid off like my other debt. Like that was like the second to the last before my mortgage. So I had like other debts, then I had my car note, my student loan, then my mortgage. So the car note, once I knocked off everything before that car loan, I went hard on it, man. I'll tell you, I had that thing paid off maybe 5 months after. I know whatever date I had originally set to pay it off, I was done like months before that. Because you know what I did? Took my tax return. I was taking my tax return money. Took my tax return money, and I made a video about that. Right before you spend your tax return, watch this. And one of the things, and what I was telling you guys, that's what I did. I'm not just telling you this, because it's just something to say. No, I did it. So I took my tax return and I put paid it out, paid it off. You know, was done. And I was able to, save, build up my emergency fund, invest. You know, somebody had asked a question about the ETFs, and ETF is an exchange traded fund, and I love ETFs. That's what I do. I forget who asked that question in one of the videos, the last video, but yeah, like I said, I believe I said one time before, ETF is like it's an index of different businesses. So you might say, look, let's look at technology. In the ETF technology ETF. So it has all businesses related to technology. So like I said, I compared it to like buying a mall. Right? It's like buying a mall. A single stock is like buying a store, one business. But ETF is like buying a mall. You invest in you just put money in, you exchange it, trade it like a stock if you want to, but I just buy and hold. That's a lot. So ETFs definitely they're good, but do your research on them because, like I said, I don't give stock advice. I just educate on it. But they have different ETFs. Some that follow the S&P 500. It might get into different technology, you know REITs, things of that nature. But yeah, you know, like I said, I always say this. A lot of times, people wonder why they live check to check, and a lot of times, the reason why we live check to check is because we finance depreciating objects. The reason why we got to work at jobs that we hate is because we finance depreciating objects. It's like people don't realize that the very same thing that you're driving in to get to that job that you hate is the reason why you have to go to that job that you hate. I know it may not sound like that makes sense, but again, the very same thing that you're driving to that place that you hate to go to every day is the reason why you're going to that place you have to go. Why? Car payments. Car payments. So again, once you free up the debt, then again you become free. You become free because even the Proverbs 22:7 says the borrower is servant to the lender. The borrower is servant to the lender. So as long as you borrowing, you're going to always be a servant, an indentured servant. An indentured servant is someone that was indebted and had to pay off that debt for X amount of years till that debt was gone, then they can be free. So, once you finance a vehicle for 7 years, you 7 years an indentured servant, 7 years a slave, because you have to work to make those payments. All right. So let's see. Somebody they say, can ETS be used as another income stream, or only long-term retirement? That's a good question. So that's a very good question. So ETF, you get dividends. You got I do only do ETFs that pay dividends. So that can be used as income stream. But it depends on where you have that ETF at. So like if you have an ETF in a retirement account, like so a Roth and a traditional IRA, those are retirement accounts. And how I describe it, like a Roth or a traditional IRA, they're like the houses, right? And it protects from tax implications. Right? It's a tax shelter account. But the actual Roth is just the house, but the ETFs or the stocks are the furniture, right, within the house. So the ETF, if you do that again, is what's making you the money. The account protects you from the taxes. So if you get a Roth and you have ETFs in the Roth and you're earning dividends, a dividend can be paid quarterly, it can be paid annually. So, the company will pay you a percentage for investing in that company. So in the Roth account, you can't withdraw the dividends, right, until X amount of years, 5 years time. You can withdraw the contributions on a Roth, but you can't withdraw the dividends. You can't withdraw the earnings, so to speak. So that's for retirement, right? Until you can withdraw, but it's be penalty. You're gonna be penalized if you do withdraw early. Tax penalties. You'll be, if you withdraw before the 5 years on that Roth account. But if you put it in just a regular brokerage account, then you can withdraw anytime you want. You just have to pay interest tax on the capital gains. So that can be another source of income. And it is an income stream. Yep. And this what a lot of people do. They're and if you ever there's a movement. It's called the FIRE movement. And I was going to do like a video on that, but it's called the FIRE movement. FIRE, FIRE, and it stands for sorry, it stands for um, financial independence, retire early. And a lot of times, what they do, they invest in these accounts, and they allow their money to grow, earning money, and it counts as another income stream where they can retire early and just live off of the dividends, live off of the income stream. So I'm sorry, Sister Davis said he can't hear me. Let me get closer to the mic and apologize. But yeah, so it can be used as an income stream, or or both long term retirement. I bought a car that was up in price. I learned recently the hard way. Better to buy a cheaper car with low costs, etc., than a higher and save for one. And whether time is right, you can buy the car you like. That's true. That is true. Yep, that is exactly right. And that is very good point. I'm not sure, Natasha. But yeah, that I agree with that. I agree with that. You can buy, a cheaper car, low cost car, and then while you're buying that, save. And then not only that, you can, sell the car, trade the car in, get money for that car, add that to the amount. So let's say, for example, you save $5,000, right? You got $5,000, you go buy a car. While you driving that car around for 3 years or whatever, you're still saving money. And then let's say you save $5,000 again. Then you go trade the car in that you already paid for. You get $1,500 for it. Now you got $6,500 to put towards another vehicle. Drive that for a couple of years while you're saving money. Trade that in. You might $2,000. You earn now you got more money, $8,500 or whatever. So yeah, I agree. I agree. Yep. Uh, so, what percentage of income do you recommend for ETF investment monthly? That's a good. That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm gonna say this: if you have debt, pay. Don't worry about investing yet. Right? If you have high interest debt, don't worry. And this is not just to you. This is for anybody. Right? If you have credit card debt, don't worry about investing. If you have uh, payday loans, don't worry about investing. If you have car payments, don't worry about investing. Right? You pay off that high interest debt first. And the reason why I say that is because the car payment, let's say, is 17%. The credit card is 23%. Right? Payday loan 500%. So you don't even need to be worrying about investing because you might get 8% return or 5% return, you know, on an investment where you got 23% credit card. So you pay that off. And once you get down to like your mortgage, if you have a mortgage, or if you have a large amount of student loan debt, then I say, all right, once you knock out all that high interest debt, then I say, okay, maybe invest, still pay off the debt, but maybe put up 15, I'll say 15%, or 10 to 15% of your income, right, to invest in. But that's after you pay off all that high interest debt, the consumer debt. Like if your person just has student loans, let's say they got $100,000 worth, of, let's say $60,000 worth of student loans, but they don't have any other debt, then I would like say, okay, you can maybe invest 10 to 15% while paying off your student loan, because it's going to take a long time to pay off that student loan that's $40,000, $50,000, right? It might take a while to pay that off, and that's time. But you also can invest because some people say you can't invest at all while you're paying off your debt. It depends. Again, it depends. So it depends on how much loan you have, how much debt you have, as far as what I would advise you to invest, what I would recommend to invest. I'll say that what I would recommend to invest. But typically, when I work with people, even for myself, I still have my mortgage, but I still put aside a certain percentage. I mean, I can save and invest. For me, I can save and invest 30% of my income, right? Why is that? Because I don't have any debt. I know people. that save and invest. Like I said, the FIRE movement, financial independence, retiring early. Some of them folks was saving and investing 50, 60% of their income. Because like I said, when you have no debt, life is not expensive. When you have no debt, life is not expensive. We make life expensive because we finance depreciating objects. And this is why, at the end of the month, we wondering where my money at. At the end of the week, we wondering where my money go. It went to debt payments. It went to car notes. It went to credit card payments. So but when you have no debt, you can. I'm telling you, um, you can really build wealth. So that's a good question. All right. When buying a used car is 54K good. What you mean? Like, is that a good price? Or mileage? I'm assuming you're talking about mileage. I'm assuming you're talking about mileage. So yeah, I mean, like I said, mileage really doesn't matter if the car is, taken care of. I'm assuming you're talking about mileage, Janet. I'm not sure. All right. Also, is it a good idea to look into ETFs while doing that snowball? So again, if you have credit card debt, payday loans, and all other type of debt, high interest debt, don't even worry about investing. Knock that out first, because you can knock out. Typically, you can knock out, depending on how much you have, you can knock out those debts in like a year and a half, 2 years, right? And also, again, it depends. It's a lot of different factors. I would have to sit one on one and talk to somebody, because of your age, right? It depends on your age, because when you're younger, you have one thing to your advantage than somebody that's older, which is time. And the more time you have in your money, in uh, ETFs or whatever you investing in, the more you're given a chance to grow, compound. So I mean, it depends on a lot. I won't give a general, but as far as this, if you have a whole lot of consumer debt, high interest debt, again, don't even worry about investing. Get that knocked out the way. Get that knocked out the way. All right. 17% on a car loan is insane, and that I agree. But that's what they do. And like I said, depending upon your credit card, I mean, I'm sorry, your credit score, that will determine your interest rate. And if you're paying 17% on a car loan, that lets me know, and not just me, but the banks know, right? The banks know your credit score is probably like subprime, like in the 300, 400, 500. And if you know, able to get a vehicle like that you get the bottom of the barrel. Like I said, the sharks done already ate you up. Now you just getting picked by bottom feeders. All right. So yeah. So you say yes. That's what you was talking about. Reason why I say the mileage is not important, because if I got money, right? If I have the money saved up, whatever problems that go wrong, I can get fixed. So let's say the engine go out, right? You got a car with 200,000 miles. Now I'm not saying go out and buy a car with 200,000 miles. I'm not saying that unless you have money to get everything taken care of. But I'm not saying do that, right? But as the car ages, as long as you have the car over time, and that car might get to that point in the mileage, if anything goes wrong with it, because I don't have I may not have no debt, and I've been saving. Anything goes wrong with it, I get it fixed. So if the engine go out, I put a new engine in it, even though the car says 200,000 on the odometer, right? It's a new engine in the vehicle. So that's what I mean by the mileage is not really important when you talk about that. But I wouldn't tell nobody go out and buy a car with 200,000 miles. It depends on the individual, like where you are. But if but you just take care of that vehicle. You can take care of the vehicle when you have no debt. All right. One year I purchased a used car, called myself doing a trade in. I think I would have gotten more selling my trade in with a junkyard or someone else. I don't think car dealerships gives you a fair deal on a trade. That is true. They don't want the car dealership is about making money, And like I said, what they'll do is if you want to go trade in a car, and like I said, if the car is upside down, if you're upside down in the car, meaning you owe more on the car than what it's worth. So here the car is worth 10,000, you owe 15,000, you want to trade it in to get in the car that's, 20,000, that $5,000 difference, they're going to tack that on to that new car. So instead of paying 20,000, like financing the car for 20,000, you just finance the car for 25,000. They just rolled that negative equity over into the vehicle, right? That's immoral. To me, that's immoral, but it's business. If you upside down in the car, meaning you owe more in the car than what it's worth, I have ways I can get you out of that. I do, but it's gonna take some sacrifice, and it's gonna feel some pain. Yep. I helped about 3 or 4 people. They was upside down in the car, paying. The car had about 38, $40,000 on the car. Monthly payments was sky high. I helped them get out of it. It's gonna take some sacrifice, but you can do it. But you gotta want to do it. You gotta want to do it. Let me see. All right. Who said that? That's a funny one. Rice and beans. Rice and beans for 3 months. Yeah, that's that Dave Ramsey. Rice and beans. Rice and beans for 3 months. Yeah. So I can tell you listen to Dave Ramsey. Hey, and that don't literally mean you got to eat rice and beans. It's just like you just living below your means. That's funny. But it is a sacrifice. Yep, it's a sacrifice. I really don't like buying car to have car no payments, but then again, it's sometimes not relevant because to me, it doesn't keep making sense putting money in an old car. That's what I'm saying, Sister Davis. Sister Davis. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Sister Davis. That's the mindset a lot of people have. I understand where you're coming from because that was me. That was me. But I'm telling you, you can get a good, reliable car. You can get a good, reliable car. And again, if you live in the big city, even if you don't live in it, I know some places they live in places where you need a car, right? You need a car. But then you got some cities where you really don't need a car. But if you want a car, you can get a good car for reasonable price. And I get what you're saying. Like you're saying, it don't make sense to keep putting money in the car, right? In an old car that needs constant repairs. And again, it depends, right? She said it's not worth it. I mean, it depends. After a certain amount of time, yeah, I agree. You had a car for 10 years, keep or how 5, 6, 7 year, whatever. All right, but during that time, you can be saving money. Believe like Natasha said that earlier. Like you can be saving money, drive the car for a few years. While you're driving that used car for a few years, save the money, right? And you still gonna be putting money. You might still need to put money into the vehicle, but again, I'd rather spend $2,000 on a transmission that may give me an additional 2, 3 years or however longer than that, right? Than take on a car loan. See, again, most people just look at the car note, the monthly payment. They compare the monthly payment of $400 to a $2,000 car repair, right? Like I said, over the course of 5 years, the value of that car is depreciating, but yet you're paying more on it. Where I can, might have to do some repairs on the vehicle every now and then. It's not like you're getting it repaired every month. It might be a couple of times out the year you got to get some work done to it. But most people look at that monthly car payment and compare that to the cost of a repair, and as a result, they stay stuck in a car loan for 4 years. They stuck in a car loan for 8 years. So, but Ain't nothing wrong with. You're right. Ain't nothing wrong with no rice and beans. I love rice and beans. Put some oxtail gravy on it, right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Greetings, peace and blessings unto you. I'll be setting up a coaching session this month. All right, Kali boy, things are looking really good, my brother. All right, Kali boy, I'm looking forward to that. I know, Kali boy. I met with him a while back, you know, and that's what I'm saying. You gotta have a mindset. Kali boy had the mindset. He's on his way. All right, all right. So yeah, but it's been an hour. I try to keep these things to like 90 minutes, hour and a half. But it's been good. Hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully, you people learn, got some value out of it. That's what I'm here to do. Just, educate, enlighten, and equip individuals with financial literacy. Oh yeah, I, I still saw. That's right. But yeah, but that's what we're here to do. I'm just here to help people because I know what it's like. I've been there, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering why you can't get ahead. Uh, I know what it's like. So if I'm gonna put this last enterprise, I'm glad you said that. Yep. Do you think it's better to buy a car from enterprise rental? I and that's something I was thinking about too. That's a good. I rent from enterprise, and they do allow you to buy the vehicles. If you when you say buy though, let's make sure we understand. Buy means you're paying with cash, right, and no payments. Finance means you have monthly payments, but enterprise, I was then looking into them for that as well. But yeah, that's definitely not a bad idea. Definitely not a bad idea. I have an old, yeah. All right, it's okay. But we'll give it. Yeah, I mean, at that point, 274,000 miles. If I'm not sure what issues you may have with the vehicle, but yeah, this 20-year-old, 21-year-old car, then yep. At that point, you might want to, think about getting another vehicle. I'm not sure how long you had the car for, Sister Davis. I know it's a 2004, but how many years you had it for? It's just soon trying to decide if I should get another car. I mean, fine. Accident. How many years you had that car for, Sister Davis? But if you're going to finance it, like I said, if you're going to finance, me personally, I won't finance. But if you're going to finance, at least go there with 20% down. At least 20% down, and try not to keep that that car loan for more than 2 to 3 years max. 3 years max. No more than 3 years. No more than 3 years. Because again, after 5 years, you don't depreciate it. But if you had that car, that Honda for a while, then yeah, I understand. Go ahead and do your thing. But again, if you're going finance, 20% down at least. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a financer guy with cars, but if you, this is a little bit of advice: 20% down at least, right? No more than 3 years, and make sure it's no more than 10% of your take home pay because you don't want that that burden of that large car note that's taking up a nice chunk of your take home pay. You had it since 2020. Oh, you got. Oh, okay. That's only 5 years. All right. Well, if you're tired of putting the money in it, then just like I said, just do what you got to do. It's a 20-year-old car. It might be time. Yeah, it might be time. All right, but yeah, thanks again for everyone coming on. I like doing this. This here. I just love helping people. That's all I want to do. Just help people. You want to come in, set up a consultation. You can do that at trufincoaching.com. You can email me at trufincoaching@gmail.com. Or if you just want to just watch the videos and do your research and do it on your own. Either way, I'm here to help. You know, I know what it's like. I've been there. Uh, yeah, and I just like seeing people win. Win and get off that rat wheel. So if you're ready to get off the rat wheel and be free to do what you want to do when you want to do instead of having to do the things you don't want to do, you can visit me at trufincoaching.com. Set up your consultation. See where we can help you. and get you on your journey to being free. Peace and blessings.